This is Rosen Institute's Your Law Firm, where we discuss law practice management, marketing, and new technologies to grow your law firm. Here's your host, Lee Rosen.
Are you ready to win? A big part of marketing is gaining attention, but what if it works? Are you ready? You're working hard to make something big happen. You're publishing articles on your blog, you're turning them into podcasts, you're repurposing them on Facebook and LinkedIn. You're making silly TikTok posts, you're hoping to go viral, you're creating YouTube videos that reveal your engaging personality. You're on Instagram showing off your big, shiny teeth. But here's the deal. At some point, something you do is probably going to work. You're going to get your 15 minutes of fame. Of course, in the current era, it might only be 5 minutes, but it could be big. It could be really big. It could be your cryptocurrency and divorce article, or your primer on startup formation, or your video on flying car liability. You don't know when something is going to stick, but when it does, it might mean a tsunami of attention. You'll get a call from the Today Show or This Morning or Good Morning America, and you'll hyperventilate when they explain that they want you to fly to their studio tonight. Maybe they'll fly you in a flying car. Your phone beeps and buzzes with calls and texts from the other online major news websites. Your email box fills up and your social media accounts get slammed with direct messages. Breathe, 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 slow down. But your website is not going to slow down. It gets 750,000 visitors in 10 hours. 2 million people hit that like button, and you get more new followers than you ever imagined. Your website is struggling to stay online. 3,000 inquiries are submitted on your contact form. Your phone is blowing up with 1,200 calls and 4,200 text messages. That little chat thing on your website, it's having a nervous breakdown. So slow down and ask yourself, why are you doing all this work? I played for attention in a lot of ways. I published, I pitched stories to journalists, I built out an educational website, and I experimented with every social media opportunity that presented itself. I figured that I'd mostly make small bits of progress, but I always dreamed of doing something epic. I figured it might happen one day. I might do the right thing at the right time in the right place and see some big results. And then I stood there facing 7 TV cameras in the lobby of the Wake County Register of Deeds office. My big plan had been to get a local TV reporter to show up. But suddenly, we were getting national press. I didn't have time to be nervous because I'd already fast-forwarded to scared. Prepared? Ha ha ha, not so much. As I plodded along, doing what I did, I hadn't seen it coming. To be fair, it's impossible to know which idea is going to be the one. I knew I was making progress, but it's hard not to dream of the big leagues when you're holding your divorce lawyer celebrates Valentine's Day party or giving away marriage licenses outside of the courthouse. Those moments came along in various ways at various times. They were never Michael Cohen big, and I never ended up in federal prison, but they were big to me. I made it into publications like the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal. I had media moments with Dr. Phil and Geraldo and all the big news networks. I did interviews with Associated Press and Reuters and more. But when my few minutes in that white, hot, bright spotlight came along, I enjoyed the terrifying moment. But did I fully exploit those moments as the business opportunities that they were? I won't relive my brief moments of fame for you. They came and they went, and the only lingering memory is that our divorce lawyer marriage license stunt got turned into a question on Hollywood Squares, an old TV game show. When the spotlight shines on you, whether it's on traditional or social media, it comes fast, and then it's gone before you fully appreciate what just happened. It's over before you know it. The question today is, are you ready? When something big happens and the flood of attention rains down on you, it's important for you to be ready if you're going to turn the attention into bank deposits. The attention won't linger while you think of what to say or how to present yourself or what to tell people to do. The deadline for the next story is looming, and the thumbs are already poised to scroll onto that next item in the feed, and nobody is bookmarking your 10 seconds in the sun so that they can revisit it when you have your act together. If you're not going to be ready, then why bother soliciting the attention? This is your moment, and you'd better be prepared to maximize it, or you ought to not be investing your time and attention in chasing a moment like this. When your moment arrives, you must be ready because there's no time for planning once the phone starts to blow up. So how can you be ready? Well, you can't handle it alone. We each have our own plan for managing the attention. Our situations vary and our audiences are different, but one thing we all have in common is that our current staffing isn't sufficient to handle a short-term, dramatic increase in workload. Those website inquiries, they're not going to answer themselves. The phone calls and the messages, they won't get a response if you don't have some help. The media calls, they'll get lost in the flood of other messages if you're not prepared to triage the incoming. The solution is typically a combination of temporary support staff and automation. But no matter what you choose to do, it'll likely be inadequate. But having any plan is dramatically better than having no plan. Your plan will need to involve tools coupled with temporary humans who can jump into the fray immediately. So tools and temps and cookies are the answer. Let's talk about some tools first as you get ready for your moment in the sun. There are more tools in these categories than I can possibly mention. You'll need to find the right tools at the right price for your particular use case. You need to realize when the spotlight turns your way. It's not always obvious if you're out on the back deck in the hot tub. Tools like Keyhole and Talkwalker, they monitor specific keywords like your name and practice area and geographic area, and they'll wake you up from that hot tub slumber before you shrivel up. They'll know before you do that the clock has started running on your 15 minutes of fame. Google Analytics, another tool, it can alert you when the traffic floods to your website if you set up the proper triggers in advance. If you blow up on social media, everybody will go looking for more information about you. Hopefully, you've already built a website providing them with what they want to know. Google Tag Manager, it's another tool that you can use to organize in advance for your moment in the sun. It'll let you know where the attention is coming from by tagging incoming traffic to your web presence. It's going to know the source of your sudden fame because that allows you to tailor your response as you move forward. Who are these people expressing sudden interest in you? Tag Manager will give you the clues. You also need cookies, not Chips Ahoy, for your website. By tagging the sudden influx of visitors, you'll be able to reach back out to the crowd after the dust settles. Cookies allow you to present online ads to your visitors who showed up during the wave of attention so that you can remind them that you can help. Clearly, they're interested and they'd like to hear from you, but you've got to have a remarketing plan in place before your 15 minutes of fame happens because you can't cookie those folks after the fact. You'll only be able to reach them if you've set this all up before your big hit. Now, of course, your website and social media accounts need to be ready to capture as many leads as possible. A strong lead capture system built around an automated email responder, we use ActiveCampaign, along with lead capture advertising needs to already be set up and running. It should simply be doing its small bit each day to help you with your marketing so that it can blossom when the flood of leads finally arrive. Bottom line, you've got to know the wave is coming before it hits the shore, and you've got to be prepared to capture that energy as it crashes onto your beach. Of course, in addition to tools like I've just mentioned, you'll need some people too. Most of us can't afford to operate year-round as if we are always waiting for a huge number of unexpected inquiries. The cost would be too high and we'd have people twiddling their thumbs. We need an elastic support network that's ready to expand into the wave of attention and inquiries. Simple solutions such as phone answering by firms like Ruby Receptionist allow for rapid expansion of phone answering. Using a service like Ruby for after-hours phone answering year-round positions you for a rapid expansion of service when you need them to handle thousands of calls coming in quickly over a few days. If you're already up and running with one of these services, it's a quick switch to level up your plan. The same is true with virtual assistant services that offer a team approach to helping you. They can expand your assistance in an instant because you're already a customer. Firms like Ruby and Belay, they can step into the fray if you're already using them, but you've got to have them ready. Simple things like putting the call from the Wall Street Journal or the NBC reporter ahead of the call from the crazy woman in Belarus. Yeah, I got a call like that. They must be part of your procedure that's in place before the onslaught happens. Visualize what's coming and build your systems in anticipation of what's expected. You'll also want specific assistance with media relations, which will help you to plan for what's next. Having a prior relationship with a media relations firm will be of great value to you when the wave hits. Keeping a few small projects rolling year-round puts you in a priority position when you've suddenly got big requirements over the short term. Knowing that there's someone you can call for help is incredibly reassuring as you're heading to the TV studio with that lapel microphone attached to your suit. As you're contemplating your 15 minutes of fame, get some media training. If you're on your way to the studio, it's too late for training. Now is the best time to get some help. We've all watched politicians move from the minor leagues to the majors. They're pretty awful when they first step onto the big stage. The differences aren't subtle. You won't be given time to improve, so you need to be ready on day one. Media training is an investment that'll pay off whether or not you ever end up on CNN. You'll use your improved communication skills in the courtroom or to convince your 4-year-old to go to bed. Media training is a smart investment regardless of how you use it. Have no regrets. Be ready. Most of us listen to my message here today and we figure, we'll deal with it later. We assume we don't need to get ready right now. That's a mistake. The steps that I've described, they won't hurt you with the normal level of interest that you get right now. These steps will streamline your process so that you can save time on a daily basis. You may not see it coming now, but it might be coming soon. That's the nature of unexpected events. They're unexpected. That live stream from the courtroom, it might capture you saying something funny. And 90 minutes from now, you're a YouTube phenomenon morphed into a duet on TikTok. It happens. On the other hand, it might not happen. It's hard to predict the unexpected. You may never have a huge influx of interest in your business. It may never happen. But if it does, you'll regret not being ready. Don't set yourself up for regrets when preparing costs so little and it helps you out over both the short and the long term. Having a plan in place is a win for you whether a tsunami of attention strikes or not. If you're working toward gaining attention, then you need to assume that it's going to work and you need to go ahead and get yourself ready. If you're not going to make that assumption and do the work to get ready, then you might as well not bother seeking to gain attention. Get ready. It's what you've got to do. Until next time, I'm Lee Rosen.
Thanks for listening to Your Law Firm. For more information on how you can take your law practice to the next level, visit roseninstitute.com. You can also subscribe on iTunes. Follow Lee Rosen on Twitter at Lee Rosen.